How to start your master thesis? Okay, so first of all, you need to start creating an agenda.
Okay, so how do you create this agenda? So you first have to set for each day how much time you are going to study. For example, in this picture, you can see that I say, okay, so I start from 9 o'clock in the morning until 1, then I have lunch, 1 hour, and I come back. So then at the end of the day, I studied 9 hours. And then, what is also really important is that you set a name of words to write. For example, here also in the picture, you can see that the aim is for one day is 200 words. So then you set for the following day, you said also 200 words, but because of this accumulative thing, so you just have the aim 400 words and so on and so on. But if your master dissertation length is given in pages, then you say the name of pages to write. For example, here in the picture, I say, okay, so for today, as I said a name of half a page written. And then you do this so on and so on. What is important is to not break your routine. It is important that you study the same hours at the same time so that your brain will take it as a routine. For example, when I did my dissertation, it was really difficult to study. For me, it was like too long, so many hours just writing. So then I establish my routine and I say, okay, so I'm going to study from 9 till 1, and then I will go for lunch, and then I will study from 2 till 6 or 7 p.m. And then what happened at the end for me is that it was easier for me to study the whole day, because what your brain does is actually automatically writing, or like your brain does it automatically without thinking. So you are not saying, oh my god, in the morning you are not saying, oh my god, I have to write so much. I really understand your pain. It was really difficult for me also to write for the whole day the same thing.
The second step is, for example, is to see examples of previous master dissertations. You can find them at your university library or on the internet. Where is a good tip is, for example, if you Google the master thesis with similar topics to your thesis.
Or even better is to Google for PhD thesis, for example. Then here in the picture, you can see that if we type entrepreneurship PhD thesis and then you put PDF, that you can see it in PDF. So then you can have examples of thesis.
It's really good to Google for PhD thesis, even though you have a master dissertation. But yeah, because then, for example, the PhD are really well written, so you have like a really good example, and then you can get this extra mark or this extra note on your thesis. If you do it more or less like the PhD, for sure you don't have to do that long. Okay, so the third is to read carefully your dissertation handbook. For example, there all universities they hand you this dissertation handbook, and it's good. For example, if you have some doubts or if you're stuck, you just go back to the dissertation handbook. Start writing a draft of your list of contents. That's really good because then you will have just the whole overview of what you have to write, and then you can also manage your time depending on how much you have to write, and then start writing your literature review and keep on with the next chapters. The last tip I give you at the beginning and during the thesis, keep in touch with your supervisor. they will give you really good feedback, and they have lots of experience. So the sooner you get the feedback from your supervisor, the better, because they will say to you if you are in a right path, if you are on the right path, or if you are really wrong. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I wish you all the best in your master dissertation. If you have further questions, because I know the master thesis is quite long and you have to do it more or less on your own. So if you have further questions on your dissertation, just comment on the video, and I will do a video like answering your questions and explaining you all about the dissertation.